Working now to crack down on postal crime and crimes against postal workers. It's been an ongoing effort since May, and this morning we have an update on just how things are going 5 months later. Joining me now this morning as we go through what we're learning is Matt Norfleet. He is from the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. Matt, good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Let's go back a little bit. How did this project even come about?
Well, postal inspectors are a part of the United States Postal Service. Postal inspectors are criminal investigators who've been part of the Postal Service since the beginning, since Benjamin Franklin was Postmaster General.
Yeah.
Postal inspectors have been investigating all kinds of crimes related to the mail. This last couple of years, there's been an unprecedented number of robberies of letter carriers while they're on their routes. And almost every time, the target of the robbery is to take the postal keys that the carriers use to deliver mail. There's only one reason to take those keys if you're not a postal employee, and that's to come back later and steal mail.
Yeah.
So Project Safe Delivery is a project of the United States Postal Inspection Service and United States Postal Service to look at every aspect that we can do to protect the people who deliver the mail, because that's the most important function, and to protect people's mail.
Yeah, of course. And we, of course, know about that because we run the stories all the time when these issues come up. Talk about how law enforcement surges are actually impacting the project.
Yeah, so like I said, postal inspectors are criminal investigators. Stealing mail is a crime. Possession of the key itself is a crime if you're not a postal employee.
Okay.
And people are being charged, they're facing decades in federal prison for having those keys. So if anybody watching this has access to one of those keys, be very careful with it.
Yeah.
So postal inspectors are investigating those crimes wherever they're happening, and the crimes related to it. So stealing mail out of mailboxes, buying and selling mail that's been stolen out of mailboxes, cashing checks that have been stolen out of mailboxes, buying and selling those keys, and of course the robbers who are targeting the carriers on the street.
Let's talk about these new boxes. There are some new collection boxes. Explain for folks that may not have seen them what they look like and how they're different.
Yeah, they look like a traditional blue collection box. The opening that you put mail into is somewhat different, and it's designed to be somewhat more secure, so that particularly letter mail, things like checks, which are the main target of thieves who steal out of collection boxes, it's easier to get a check in, harder to get a check back out. It is more, it's a smaller opening, so people who have parcel mail are going to need to take it into a post office or give it to a carrier. You can't put as large of parcels into the blue boxes, but they are more secure for people who are mailing checks, and that's important.
And lastly, explain how you guys are working basically to protect carriers as well, because like you mentioned, that's an important part of this. Yeah,
I mean, from our perspective as postal inspectors, the #1 focus is the people who are doing this are criminals. We're tracking them down, arresting them, bringing them to justice in courts of law. What the public can do is to keep in mind that your neighborhoods are your letter carrier's workplace. The carriers are out there doing a physically and mentally demanding job all day by themselves. So if your viewers can help keep an eye out, the carriers are safe, they're not being followed, nobody's bothering them while they're on their routes. The other thing people can do is try to make sure that there aren't valuables in their mailboxes to steal, because the profit from stealing that mail is what's driving these crimes.
Sure, absolutely. See something, say something. We hear it all the time. Matt, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Mike.